processes of how we make decisions to buy things, research, evaluation, how do we purchase online, in person, post-purchasing behavior, what do we do after the fact, how satisfied are we, how that kind of transform into what kind of consumer we'll be in the future. And all of the above, right? Before that, we looked at the history of marketing. So in this chapter, we're looking at how do we segment, how do we divide our consumer base, right? Now that we know that everybody has different behaviors, characteristics, perceptions about how to go about making purchases based on lifestyle, age, income, occupation, belief systems, values. Now we can look at how to divide, right? So here we're looking at segmentation. All right, so with segmentation, we have the consumer markets, right? One is behavioristics, right? 4 groups of shared characteristics. So we say when we divide, we think of, hey, we have a particular product. Is that the end result? Like, is that the finality of what it is we're going to offer? What are some clever ways we can divide ourselves in what we offer so that we can gauge the interest of different types of people, right? How can we motivate individuals to come buy this product, right? What do we do with the product? Some interesting things. So we say behavioristics, how the actual sort of behavior of individuals go about making purchases, right? We'll look at geographic. Hey, how important is it the location of where we're going to place our retail space, target specific type of individuals based on that. Demographic, right? Demographic, how old are you? What is your gender? Occupation? How much money do you make, right? Socioeconomic status. And then we say psychographic, right? Psychographic is like, hey, what are your values? What kind of lifestyle would you like to have, right? Things of that nature, a little bit deep. All right, so we segment based on the consumer market. This one with behavioristic segmentation determined by user status. User status is, hey, are you currently an active user? Are you currently an active shopper? Are you looking? Are you currently active looking for something? Do you currently purchase what we have? Right? People like that. Maybe you're not purchasing. Maybe you're passive. Like, I don't know. I might think about buying something in the future. Right? Are you a non-user? Like, hey, I have no interest. Right? But it doesn't stop there. For us as marketers and advertisers, no. We say, well, how do we gauge the interest of individuals who are non-users? Why are they non-users? How come they don't want our product? What are we doing wrong? We need to get research, right? Focus groups. Figure out what they desire, right? And then for the ones who are already purchasing, like, how do we get them to purchase more? How do we get them to consume more of what we offer? Do we change the price? What we currently offer? Do we change portion sizes of food if we're a restaurant? How do we get them to consume more, right? And then we're passive, we just want to increase that interest, right? We want passive individuals to kind of become more active individuals, right? So we have to think of these strategies. Purchase occasion, right? Are we in the business for occasion? Do we have a Halloween pop-up shop? Like, hey, there's a great opportunity. Let's lease out the space for a month at this building so that we can be seasonal, right? Is it just for weddings? So we make offerings for the occasion of weddings. We make offerings for the occasions of graduations. Do we make offerings for occasions, right? And if so, let's say we already have an established business, how do we go about promoting things that are more central to occasion? Occasion could be holidays, right? So if you're a retailer, what are you going to do to promote 4th of July, right? To get individuals to buy either specific items for the holiday or even casual items that's unrelated Thanksgiving, etc. Right? And then the benefit sells. Remember we say customers love value. Value is not indicative of price. It could be. But value is something just very personal. And value is a feeling. Feeling like you are satisfied based on some features of whatever firms offer. Right? The benefit sells. So we all like to feel like that there's a benefit. All right, so we say, all right, what's soup? And we're looking at soup and we're looking at fast food restaurants. But we say soup, we have heavy users. So these are our main, light users will be probably our main sort of target market, right? They eat soup once a month, 47%. I'm sorry, that's actually the amount of people. So heavy users is what we target, right? People who eat soup once a week or more, which is 38% of people. So we say those are the people that really bring home our income, right? They drive our revenue, they drive our profit. We want to focus on them. We treat them differently, right? In any sort of regard of any business or product that we offer, we treat the people who are repeat customers and heavy consumptions of what we offer differently, right? In essence, we call them clients or something, right? Think of it, we have just a corner store and the person who comes in every day, the newspaper to buy things, you talk to them, you engage, you treat them so they feel great, so they come back. Because they've given you a lot of repeat business, right? The new people, they get treated a little bit differently, right? Like, hey, good morning or something, that's about it. Other people who are more established, who come all the time, you engage more, right? We can see that in retail, when they have all your information and they say, oh, hi, welcome back. Mr. and Mrs. such and such, right? You get engaged more differently than just casual. But here we're looking at soup, heavy users. Those who eat soup once more a week, right? Maybe we need to differentiate in our product for non-users. Those who eat less than one bowl a month. How could we go about gauging more interest to get them to eat more than that, right? And then light users, those who eat soup once a month. So we may have three separate categories of the same product, branded differently, right? Different labels, coloring, portion sizes. Let's say like a can of soup, if it's in a grocery store or something, we would differentiate, right? Segment that. And then for fast food restaurants, right? We got our heavy users, 9 or more visits per month. Maybe we give them more promotions. McDonald's has an app, right? You get all sorts of benefits based on time, how many times you come back, all sorts of points. And then we have light users, right? People who come in rarely, 0 to 3 visits per month, and then medium, right? So we say that there's a difference in the behavior characteristics of how people go about wanting soup or going to get fast food restaurant. And we have to adjust our advertising to that. All right, how can we further divide, right? We could divide by sales regions, right? We think of car manufacturers are divided by regions. Grocery stores are divided by regions. Costco's and Sam's Clubs and things like that, right? County, city, and size. We need to know that information, right? We could divide just by zip code. Like, hey, I want to place my business in a very wealthy zip code, right? 90210 or something like that. And then different types of stores, right? We can offer different types. We can say, hey, there's Walmart, there's Sam's Club, and there's some other things too. What's the difference between those? Well, you said there's different shopping behaviors based on the region that they're located in. Right? One buys an even more of a bulk consumption because they're more family oriented in that particular area. Ones are just individuals for the most part. They come in and shop for themselves. So they don't need bulk, right? And they individualize products. And then Walmart will say, well, we're gonna adjust the price based on the portion sizes, maybe a little bit more creative marketing towards each different group, right? The stores look different, the branding is different, the parking lot, everything about it will be differentiated, be segmented, right? And sort of fulfill. And then we also have the PRISM system, which is a respected source that you can look up, and it separates things by zip code. So you can look at all the demographics by zip code. You can look at, hey, how much is the household income for 60010, right? How much is the household income for here? What are the age demographics? Is it mostly students? Is it mostly families? Right? What's the ethnic sort of over at that location? So let me ask you this question. How do think of some products within your groups, right? And think of, some very popular products that you could think about. And think about how they differentiate the same exact product to different types of people, right? And what are the features? How are they dividing? How are they dividing the product, dividing their brand, dividing their service? So I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Come up with whatever you think of. We think car manufacturers, electronics, clothing, anything of the sort. So we think of, right? Think of stuff like this. You're like, hey, how are things divided? Are things divided? Are the same stuff divided by sex? Right? Like, oh, do we have gender differentiation for Dunkin' Donuts? If we make one, we start saying, hey, you know what? We're going to divide the coffee of Dunkin' Donuts and make one pink cup for women and one black and gold cup for men, but it's the same exact coffee, put in a different cup. Would that fly? People actually engage. Would that be successful? Right? Are we that sort of psychologically sensitive for things like that to fly? It's the same thing, different package. Maybe different price, I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, think of maybe large brands and how to go about differentiating based on maybe these factors and stuff or more that you can think of. Right? Cars, shoes, electronics, right? Other consumer goods. Try to come up with at least one of each of these if you can think of. All right, here's an example of differentiation and segmentation. Same company. Same company, different brands. Right? Same company produces Pantene, Safeguard, Pepto-Bismol, Braun, Cascade, Crest, Dawn, Fairy, Gillette, Gain, Febreze, Head and Shoulders, Oral-B. The same manufacturer, right? Making all that money just by dividing, right? In different ways, right? You could be like, well, these are completely different products. Maybe some of them are very similar. Maybe they're competing against one another, but it's on purpose because there's a different type of consumer with different type of needs or limitation. So just an idea, right? You got even Tide. This is Procter and Gamble, of course, right? So Procter and Gamble owns all the brands. Tide, Tampax, right? Pampers, Vicks, Head and Shoulders. So think of at least one of each of the categories that was up here. I'll put that back for you. Right? Think of something that's divided by sex, maybe by different age groups, ethnic background. If you could think of something, education, occupation, and income. Might need help. Right? I can give you examples. You can think of Ford. You're like, well, Ford makes different cars for different types of people. Ford makes F-150s. Ford makes F-250s, right? What's the difference between F-150, F-250? What's the difference between an F-350? Who needs an F-350? Who needs a 250? Who needs a 150? Right? Like, that's just for trucks. Ford makes a ton of other cars. They have a ton of other brands. Right? In what ways are they going about differentiating? Right? Clothing retailers, we can look at those. Are they differentiated by obviously sex, men's area, women's area, right? Does it get further? Is it get, some brands have a children's brand too, babies brand as well, right? Who's doing it the best? Does it cover all the bases, right? I get a couple more minutes just to think of something. Think of going, think of like going in Target, if you're a Target shop, or Walmart, and think of maybe the subtle differences that you've noticed about how they go about promoting kind of the same exact thing. Like if you've shopped there a long time, have they changed the price? The same thing, have they changed the packaging? Something bigger now, something smaller? Are they offering less? Are they offering more different names of the same thing? You think of deodorants, right? You think of all types of things. So those types of examples can help. Okay, what are your thoughts? What did you come up with?